All right, the Final Four is set. Some good games were
Yep.
played, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, been some good basketball games. You know what I'm saying? No real blowouts. There wasn't no Cinderellas in there to kind of root for except
No,
for Arizona. But 10,
right.
the 10th seed was the lowest seed.
What? What was? No, wasn't it? Arkansas.
I'm sorry, I said Arizona.
Arkansas. Yeah, you
Arkansas.
said Arizona.
I keep
Arkansas.
getting. I always get them mixed up. I do it in football too. I'm saying Arizona and I mean Arkansas every
Yeah.
time.
Right, right,
Every
right.
time.
But we, like I told you before, when you look at Arkansas, were they really a Cinderella team? Were they a true number 10 with John Calipari as head coach? Not
I
really.
mean, talent wise, they were probably, but yeah, like you said, they do have an extra element with a good coach,
Yeah, when you
well
not
known
just a
coach.
good coach, you're talking about a Hall of Fame coach. You're
Right.
talking about an elite coach, and that's and I think Gino basically said it best. He said your program gets you to the Elite Eight. Your stars get you to the Final Four in the championship game, and he
Mhm.
had no stars on that team. But the
That's right.
program, the
Talented.
foundation that he set within Arkansas, got him there. They beat St. John's, so which is Rick Pitino, so another elite coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so but they weren't a true Cinderella in my opinion, but I think the whole fact that the NIL
Yeah.
deals have really like I guess wiped out the Cinderella teams. There's no veteran teams out there that's
Well,
beating some.
you can't because soon as you become good, if you on one of those
Oh
Cinderella
yeah,
teams, somebody gonna say, "I give you 3 million and come out here to Michigan."
exactly.
Okay, and I guess what? They gonna go. They okay.
Right,
We're the first play. They
right.
out. You know what I'm saying? So, and they need to put it got to be some kind of salary cap on that thing, man. Something. There got to be some kind of salary cap because you're leaving the big programs to just like wipe out the smaller programs. The smaller programs never going to really get up and be good for a certain amount of time because number one, once one of those those programs do good, they take their coach,
Take the coach.
right?
Yep,
But now with NIL, they're going to be taking their players too.
yep,
So it's like,
yep.
why recruit? Why am I gonna go recruit?
Right.
Get this player, develop him, and
Those
he gonna
small
go
schools
somewhere.
are minor leagues. They're a minor league team
Yeah,
for the big schools, for the Dukes, for the Michigan States. They're developing players to go there. They're developing coaches to go to the
yeah.
big school. So yeah, it's I I don't want to say it's ruining college basketball, but it's taking that element of college basketball that we all loved about it, right? The small school taking down the big school.
Right. I mean, it has kind of ruined it, particularly in football. But
Oh
just
yeah.
but just for a simple fact that you don't have that 3 year player to become a superstar in college
Right.
no
Right.
more. They kind of make them up because look, everybody, all over Cooper Flag, right? Right. So you go to the number one team, they go get the number one guy on the number one team to say, let's push him. That's easy. That's a no-brainer.
Right.
But you don't have the group of stars and the team and the stars playing each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
It's just you're just not gonna get that because number one, the good players are only gonna stay and stay in college. What 2 years? They only got to stay 2 years, right?
Yeah. I
So
thought it was only one,
it might be. I think it. I think you're right. It
unless
is
they
one.
change the rule. Unless they change
No,
it,
I think
because
you're right. I think you're right. It is
because
one.
is it still one and done? You can still do one and done, right?
I
Or did
think you
they
can do
change that?
one and done. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
still
think
one
you
and
can do
done.
one.
But I
Yeah.
mean, they're staying longer. I mean, that's the only good thing about the NIL is that they're
Right.
staying longer.
Right. Now they have an incentive to stay longer.
Right. You
You know what I'm
know,
saying? They do.
and we can stop hearing those lame stories about their family is starving and they got
Right,
to go
right,
to the NBA to feed them and stuff like that. It's like, come on,
right, right.
stop it.
Well,
I
I can see football player, not football. I can see basketball players leaving because I don't think they don't have that rookie cap, do they? Not like football.
No, I think it's a rookie cap.
There's a rookie cap, but it's
Oh
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
football. It's not like you know what I'm saying. Like you can come out of colleges and they can still have a $40 million contract for basketball.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It's capped
I
on
think
it.
yeah, I think it's capped just like football. It's pretty restricted for rookies coming in.
Oh, okay.
So Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They don't get the max deal. I think you can. I remember Derrick Rose got a super max deal after a few games. Like you have to hit certain incentives, MVP, within your first 2 or 3 years or something ridiculous like that. Because remember, Derrick Rose got it pretty early, and then he got a max deal pretty early in his career. Then he blew out his knee, which was bad.
Right. Right.
But but yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. But yeah,
but
it's and one thing, like you said, it makes them stay a little longer because now they don't have to rush out to go get the money.
right,
But now you got all of them just converging on one team.
that's true.
They're just
That's
going
true.
like if they want to go to whoever they think gonna win, they can just go
Yep, and get paid, and get
and
paid
get
for it.
paid and get
Yeah,
paid.
yep,
Anytime you got a terrible quarterback like DJ Ungunglier getting 2 million from Florida State to go there, okay, and then stink up the joint, man, they're gonna have to pay the better quarterbacks like 3, 4, 5 million.
right, right, right. But what's funny to me is like Bruce Pearl at Auburn. I mean, this is what he was doing when he was at Tennessee and all the other schools that he was at before, and got fired for those schools for doing illegal recruiting and payments and stuff like that. Now it's all open. His system of basketball is working now. So now you got Auburn in the Final Four as they should be because now his philosophy of getting recruiting players is working. It's legal.
Yeah, yeah. Now you
Uh,
can throw the cheddar in front of them, and they
you,
say, "Okay, right, go take the cheese."
exactly, exactly. So
But if you was to sit there and pick a Final Four for who would be in the Final Four, it would be
this
these
is
four teams. It would probably be
exactly
these four teams.
well, they're
Like,
all they're
there's
all the number
no
one
surprise.
teams.
It
No
is no
surprise.
surprise at all where these teams.
All the number one teams: Auburn, Florida,
Yeah,
Duke, and Houston.
yep. Just take the favorites
Yeah,
all the
just
way
take the
down.
favorite. Yeah. That's what I was telling you. I felt like this was going to be. I did predict some upsets because of the coaches. I thought St. John's as a number two was going to get there. But yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's
my
it's
my my quote unquote surprise pick is still there.
who's
Florida. I
that?
said Florida.
That's your
I,
that's your surprise pick, the number one pick. Really?
am just saying it wasn't Duke and it wasn't Auburn. You know what I'm
But
saying?
who?
They're not the top two of them teams.
I had Florida going there because there was really no one in their bracket that they had to face.
Yeah.
Like I was worried about Auburn because they played Michigan State,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was concerned about that. Duke, I didn't think Duke had anybody they were really facing in their bracket.
No, they did.
Duke had an easy run. Houston had a tough run. I thought St. John's
Yeah.
was going to meet them there, but St. John's went down to Arkansas, so that kind of made their path a little easy.
Yeah.
So
Houston got that defense, man.
who was that?
Houston, they got that
Oh,
defense.
Houston. Oh
Play
yeah,
play
yeah,
their unders. If you playing the Houston game, play their under.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay, make some
yeah.
little extra money while you're watching the game. Play Houston unders.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't play the unders against Duke. I think
Um,
I
it's gonna
think
be that's. I think you might do want to get on the under on that. I think you might do want to get on the under
I
on
think
that.
Duke
'Cause
gonna put on work.
That's gonna be two defensive teams going at it.
Do you
Like,
think Duke is? I think, but Duke can score.
oh no, they could score, but they ain't played a team like Houston defense. Houston like the one of the top five defenses in the country.
I think Charles Barkley says better offense beat good defense. A good offense
Nah.
beats good defense.
I don't know. It depends on how good we talking about. But I mean,
Uh,
they look, the number is 136 for a reason. That's a rather low total.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's a low total for that Duke Houston game. That's a low
That
total. So it's like that for a reason.
yeah, yeah, no, I'm not doubting Houston's defense, but I'm saying Duke's offense scoring ability will be enough. Will be enough to beat Houston. At
They
least in my
haven't played
opinion.
that. Yeah, I don't think they played a team like Houston on defense though. Houston
Mm,
defense is crazy. It's crazy.
yeah.
Just to have a reference though, the Florida Auburn game 160.
Mm,
And Auburn's supposed to have a decent defense too.
yeah. 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 They
Yeah,
do.
30
They
points
do.
more.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Final four on the men's side is set. Got Auburn playing Florida, number one Auburn playing number one Florida, number one Duke playing number one Houston. Well,
Just pick
why did
one.
we? Yeah, why did we need these other teams? Why did we need the other 60 teams? We could have just scrapped all of this, just put the number one seeds in the Final Four from the beginning and saved us some time.
It all panned out just the way it's supposed to, apparently.
Yep, that is true.
The
That is true.
season, it just ran right down like it's supposed to. No surprises, no big upsets.
Nope. No,
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 play the games.
no,
But it
no
is going to be
fifth.
an interesting Final Four, though. I would say this: I'll be more riveted to this Final Four than I have been in the last couple of years. I would say.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll be more interested in it. I didn't pay much attention to the regional games because I didn't feel there was any up and coming team like a low seed that would have surprised anybody. I just didn't feel that way this year. Like to me, that was the reason you watch these tournaments so you can see at least from the men's side of it too.
Right.
There were always the upsets. There were always the surprise team, the George Masons that would make it to the Final Four, the VCUs, and get a legend like Shaka Smart that comes out of it. You know what I'm saying? You get these legends where there was the coach or some player that was having some wild, games like Steph Curry when he took Davison to the Elite Eight or whatever, surprised the hell out of it and became legends.
Right.
I just don't think you're going to see it in today's game.
Yeah, they're not going to be there long enough.
No.
They're just not. You're going to see very few. The players that you see staying 4 years are just they're like physically good, but probably not good skill wise. They had to get their skill all the way up to
Right.
actually make it as a high pick in the NBA.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like did Zach Edey stay on 4 years? No. Did he stay for 4 years? For some reason, I won't feel like he been there. He was at Purdue for a long time.
I don't remember. I know he's definitely there for 2 years. Definitely there for 2
At
years.
least for 2 years. Bare minimum.
Definitely. Yeah. But I don't know if he was there for all 4 years. But anyway, but yeah, that's the Final Four on the men's side. Final Four on the women's side is set with number one UCLA versus UConn and number one South Carolina versus Texas. UConn, they ended up playing SC without Juju Watkins, and they pretty much handled them. Paige Becker, she balled out with 31 points, putting in work. Yeah. So I UConn, and it is kind of the same way on the women's side like it was on the men's side. There was really no surprises here.
Right, yeah. All the main team, like I said, South Carolina actually kind of struggled against Maryland. I mean, they were 17 and a half point favorites in that game. They did not look like 17 and a half point favorites.
Right.
In that game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maryland hung with them tough.
Well, even Duke hung with them. I mean, they only beat Duke by 4 points.
Right.
Yeah. So they're not as dominant as they have been in the past.
Right. Well, with women's, it was always South Carolina, LSU, UConn. Then with when Caitlin Clark came up, her team was up in Indiana. So was it Indiana or Iowa? Who she play
No,
for? Indiana.
She played no, Indiana in the WNBA. She
Right.
played for Iowa.
Iowa, and there you go. Iowa in college.
She
but
plays for the Indiana Fever now. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the usual suspects.
Right.
There's really no Cinderellas going on in WNBA. I mean WNBA at women's NCAA college basketball. Now.
Right. But that's the way it's been for years. You didn't have the 15 seed beating the 2 seed on the women's side. You get that on the men's side, but you didn't get much of that on the women's side.
Right.
So
you got 3 number 1 seeds and a number 2 seed.
Exactly. That's always been the case on the women's side. Or you had Tennessee and UConn annihilating teams.
Yeah.
Beating them by 40 points going into the championship game.
Yep.
So, but it's gotten more competitive, which I do appreciate. It's gotten more competitive. You don't have that one dominant team that's just destroying everybody else. So that I do like that, and I do enjoy that. You got a variety of teams and players that are competing and putting on a good show.
Hmm.
So I'm looking forward to this UCLA and UConn. UCLA put in work on LSU. I was a little disappointed in LSU, even though they kept it close, but UCLA was firing from all over the place. So
Yeah,
it'd
what
be
happened to
interesting.
old Flage? You know what I'm saying?
Flage was putting in work.
Flage.
She was putting in work, but it wasn't enough to carry the team.
Right, right.
She was balling out. I mean, she gave you 28.
Yeah, she looked like a dude out there, boy. I tell you, boy, she be out
Yeah,
there with skills. Like she one
right.
of the few I could be like, okay, she looked like a dude baller. Like,
Yeah, she got a nasty crossover, dude. She
yeah,
was
she do.
Yeah, she was putting in work, man. So I like that mid range game that she was putting in out there.
Yeah,
So
man. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
actually think Texas got a shot to beat South Carolina, though.
they do.
They do because I just watched them. They just did not look good against Maryland, man. And I guess that's staying in my brain because they were 17.5 point favorite, and yeah, they were supposed to finish off my parlay for about $1,000. Okay, okay, never mind that part. But I was just watching so intently and just watching them miss layups, these weird fouls.
Hmm.
It was just it was sloppy. It was quite
Yeah, yeah. They're not as strong as they've been in the past. That's
sloppy.
definitely for sure. Yeah,
No, they lost too many people the last 2 years.
yeah. That's probably more of it than anything. Yeah,
Hmm.
but good stuff. I mean, we'll see. Be following these games, man. I'm all in now. When we're talking about the other 60 games, 60 teams and games. I don't know, man. This year I wasn't too into it. I think I was just too busy this weekend.
Who you
But
got? Who you
now,
got winning? Both sides. I mean, the men's and the women.
I think one I got Auburn,
Mhm.
and I probably on the women. I probably got South Carolina. Probably South Carolina. I got
Okay.
to look at my bracket. My bracket's busted, man. I don't even want to talk about it.
Hey, one of my joints, I still got Florida in it.
Now, well, I got. I mean, that was easy to pick the final four,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
leading up
yeah.
to it,
True.
because I was expecting some
Yeah,
upsets. I was
yeah.
thinking I was going to get some upsets, but I didn't get any. It's like, yeah.
Right. I got Florida winning on my bracket though. That's the other thing. They win the
Mm.
whole thing on my bracket. So I'm sticking with Florida on the men's side. And I think UConn will come out and do their thing on the women's side.
I think so too. I think this is Paige Becker's legacy. She's setting it up, so she's got to win this one because I think this is her last year
Yeah.
in college basketball. So she's going to WNBA. So it's her last chance to get that chip. That's the only thing that's missing.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
Uh, few things in basketball I want to talk about, right? Weirdly, Grizzlies fire Taylor Jenkins
Mm.
after, I mean, I think Taylor Jenkins and the Grizzlies have won 40, was it 46, 47 games, and they fire him at this point in the season. It's like,
Yeah.
what could have happened that would make you fire him at this point in the season? He's like one of two, three coaches that have been fired after winning 40 something games in a season.
Um, I mean, just from seeing a couple of the Grizzly games personally, I think it was just the disappointment in some of the losses that they took. They were just
Mm-hmm.
losing to some teams they had no business losing to. I mean, I get Ja was hurt here and
That's what I was
there.
going to say. Ja was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. He was hurt here and there. But they've had that. Remember that, like what, a couple years ago when Ja was hurt for like half the season,
Mm-hmm.
and Memphis just kept winning. They showed that they could win without Ja. And they
Mm-hmm.
basically got the same team with a more developed Jaren Jackson Jr.
Right.
Because now Jaren Jackson, he can take over a game now. I mean, he's
Right.
a bona fide like player now.
Right.
Yeah. With those players on that team, you got the same players you had on there 2 years ago. You should be like moving on, like progressing, and they don't seem like they're progressing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I don't agree with finding him mid-season. Let him see if he can turn this around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Get better. You know what I'm saying? Get all your people back. Make sure get a healthy job and see if you can make a run in the playoffs.
Which doesn't make any sense because if you fire him, like you're putting some other guy as the interim head coach to finish out the season, you think you're going to get better. So it's just like,
Right.
why not just let him finish?
Yeah, because you're not, it ain't like you're in the play-in, you ain't
Right.
teetering on the play-in game. You the fifth, what, fourth, what they, fourth, fifth seed, something like that. They're
I,
like right in the middle of the pack.
yeah, they have 44 wins. They're 44 and 31. They're the fifth
Yeah,
seed. They're the
fifth
fifth
seed.
seed.
Okay, right. So they right there. So it ain't like you did terrible, and considering like you said, like you just mentioned, you didn't have Ja for a lot of games. Ja probably
Right.
been for like 20 games,
I don't
25
remember. I
games,
don't
something like
remember
that.
how many games it is, but I mean, you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, in the playoffs, and you're in a decent seed. You ain't in the play
Right.
and
Right.
thing,
And you got
So
to do just hold tight and just finish out the season. But I guess they were just impatient. I
right.
guess because they're 3-7 in the last 10 games, so maybe that factored into it. Maybe the
Yeah, they just
players.
been losing. Right. They were losing some disappointing games where they had the
Right.
lead, they gave up and lost. Teams they weren't supposed to lose to, like, I don't know, like I forgot, I think what team might be Utah or something like that. They
Yeah.
lost to at home. It was just wasn't good. They lost to 10, that's what, to Trailblazers. They lost to the Trailblazers.
Mm.
And they didn't look good. They didn't look good at all. You know.
But and it could be the players is just aren't responding to him anymore. That's the only thing I can see. Players aren't responding and probably requested, "Hey, we need a
Now,
change."
now if the players came in there and said, "Hey man, this coach ain't it."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they did that, okay, I could kind of get it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If the players are not going to play for him, then there's no sense of him being there.
Right. You
You know
could
what I'm
you
saying?
make the change now.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But they don't feel like you should have lost to the Spurs without Wemby. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Uh,
Right.
the Knicks where you were up that game. You know what I'm saying? Let them come back in the end and win the game when you was at home. Stuff like that. It's games that they lost that they on paper should not have lost. Even
Mm-hmm.
without Ja, they shouldn't have lost. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But a couple of those games was with Ja. So
Yeah. So obviously the players aren't
but firing
responding.
them in the middle of the season does not help you at all.
This ain't. But
But
that's the thing about it. This ain't even the middle of the season. This is the end of the
it's
season.
the end of the season, right.
It's like let him finish.
Let
I
them
don't get
finish.
it. I don't get it. Like I said, it had to be
Finish.
extreme where the players aren't responding to him and requested that this guy needs to go, or he said something derogatory that is unforgivable, and the players like he's got to go.
Right.
That's the only way I can see it. I mean, I can see why Larry Brown and Don Nelson. I can imagine these two back in the '90s getting fired because those two were pretty stubborn head coaches. Larry
Mhm.
Brown, you
Yeah. Oh
know,
yeah. Big
yeah,
time.
Larry,
Larry Brown,
big
big
time,
time.
big time. Him and Iverson fought all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah, Larry Brown was pretty, headstrong on how he wanted things to be done, and he would
That's
rather
right.
be fired than take any orders from anybody. So
Yep.
I can understand him being fired after winning over 40 games. And Don Nelson was the same way, especially when he liked to play small ball. And
Hmm.
owners didn't like that back in the '90s. That didn't make sense to him, and
Yep.
so I can see him being fired or with 40 wins as his team is going to the playoffs. I'm trying to remember. I remember when that happened. I just don't remember what year it was and what team it was when he got fired with
Who's talking about
40
Larry
something.
Brown?
No, Don Nelson.
Oh, Don Nelson.
Yeah, I think it was when he was the coach of the Mavericks.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
wild stuff in the NBA. Other stuff in the NBA. Pelicans are shutting down Zion Williamson and McCollum. I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, this season is a lost season, another lost season under Willie Green. I don't know if Willie Green survives. You know, there's the review at the end of the season because I think the Pelicans have talent. Zion has played a good bit of his games. It's not like he's missing an entire season anymore. McCollum's been there, so he got a consistent scorer and veteran player, and still can't make the playoffs. Even when you do make the playoffs, you go out in the first round.
Yeah.
Something has to give. And I
Yeah.
don't think this is a thing of players unavailable because they got good players. They got developed players. They just don't know how to win.
I mean, yeah. I mean, let's see. You let Ingram go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let him go. So you kept McCollum. Then you got like Jones. Jones got hurt. He's out.
is
Zion
out.
can stay healthy for the whole season. He's in and out. McCullum even started getting hurt, you know.
But
Uh,
they wasn't making the playoffs anyway. They
no,
had a losing record, even when everybody was available.
right.
Even when I can't think of the name of the guy we got from the Hawks. Um, the point guard. Can't think of his name right now. He's been
DeJounte Murray.
this Murray. Yeah,
Hmm.
he was playing well. Still couldn't win.
Yep.
So I think that's coaching. That's coaching because you
Yeah,
got to
but
get
he
those
was
guys
hurt
to play
too.
together.
They
Yeah,
just hurt one by one by one.
one by one.
Versus Ingram, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Zion is all time hurt, you know what I'm saying?
yep, yep,
He's
yep,
always
yep,
hurt. But then you lost
yep.
Derrick Jones. Then I think it was is it Derrick? Oh, Herbert Jones, my bad.
Herbert
Herbert Jones.
Jones,
You
Herb
lost
Jones,
Herbert
Herb
Jones,
Jones,
you
Herb
know,
Jones, and Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy, yeah. But Trey
Yeah,
Murphy's actually still there though, right? He's not hurt, right?
no, he's hurt. He just recently got hurt his shoulder.
Oh wow. Another
Yeah,
person on the list.
another
Uh,
on the list.
yeah, everybody just getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? McCallum missed a few games. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no identity there. There's nothing
yeah,
really there
yeah. Some,
worth saving.
but I think you got to make a change at head coach. I think we've given him enough time to figure this stuff out.
Pretty much.
But it's just not working. You got to go in a different direction. And I think it's time to do that.
Yeah.
So I would like for the Pelicans to make a coaching move to get somebody else, maybe a veteran coach. One of these coaches that Doc Rivers or somebody to come in, teach these guys how to win. I mean, yeah, okay, we're not going to win the championship, but at least we'll be a playoff team. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I would rather to show promise, get the team culture built up, and then bring in some young guy to close it out, to finish it off. Bring in a Steve Kerr type of a coach that you find out that has what it takes to get us over the top after we hire some veteran guy like a Doc
Hmm.
Rivers or whatever that knows how to get you to the playoffs.
Right.
So, but
Definitely.
yeah, something's got to be done. Um, on a funny tip, Stephen A. Smith said, how LeBron stuck to him, man. If he'd have put his hands on him, he would have swung on 6'9"
Right.
LeBron James.
Yeah,
Now,
I gotta go see this. I really gotta see this video. You know what
but to Stephen A's defense,
I'm
he said he would have got his ass beat.
saying? Yeah, he would have for sure. He know that. He ain't
Most
gonna lie
definitely.
about that.
Yeah. I'm glad he recognized that.
Oh yeah.
6'9", 270 pounds, LeBron James, all
Yeah.
muscle. Yeah, that ain't the dude you want to mess with. That is a giant that you're
At
fighting.
all.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with that dude. Stephen
Nah.
A, stop it. Stop
Nah.
it, dude. You know, and I get it. You made some comments about his son. He didn't like it. Maybe he was a little overly sensitive about what you said. But let's stop this whole you were gonna swing on
Right. Yeah,
him.
if he touched me, I would have swung on him.
Yeah, that's you would have
All right,
swung.
Stephen A. Okay.
I doubt you would have connected.
Right. You weren't connected with much of anything.
Yeah, right.
You
And
weren't
you
gonna
were gonna
connect
take a
with much of
beat down.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beyond a
I,
beat down.
yeah. And I get it. You're trying to convince us that you're still a man. You didn't get punked. Got it. Sure. You didn't get punked. You can try to be hardcore, but we all know what the outcome would have been.
Man, have you heard any audio from that little exchange?
No, there's no audio, but that's him
I want to hear actual
describing
audio, like what was being said there.
what
Because I
happened.
saw the stand up and I saw them talking. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. I never really caught exactly what the words that were said.
Well, it's Stephen
You
A.
know?
describing. He's explaining to you what was said, and then as
Hello?
LeBron trying to tell you what was said on the McAfee show. So they're telling their account of the story. There's no audio from it. So yeah, I mean Stephen A. He made the right choice and not to go at LeBron and to swing on him and all this nonsense. Like you sit there, listen, let the man vent, and be done with it, Stephen A. That you did the right thing, man. Stop it. You wasn't gonna swing on that man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't. Yeah, come on now. I mean, he can say that all he wants to, daddy, in the comfort of his own house, own
Right.
studio. his
Right.
own podcast. But come on,
Yeah.
Stephen A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
You wasn't
You already, you well, hold on, brother. Brother, hold on.
right.
We ain't got to do all this. This
That's
is not,
right.
that's what you can do.
Right.
People say, hold on, brother. We ain't got to do
Right.
this.
We don't have to do this, my black brother.
We
You
out in
know what I'm
public,
saying?
brother. We can't be doing this. These two black men. We can't be doing this. Yeah, right, right. Yep, yep.
Right. So, but
Yep,
yeah.
Stephen A. But I really want to know what the contents of the words were.
Yes.
What they were
So
going back and
so
forth. I really want
so
to know what the contents of the words were.
so check out Pat McAfee. LeBron's on there. He's
Mhm.
talking about it. And then Stephen A is on um what's the show? Um the podcast with uh Jax and the two former NBA players. Why am I blanking on their names? Steven Jackson and no, it wasn't that show. My bad. It's the Gilbert Arena show.
Oh, Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah. Yeah. He's on
Yeah,
that
Gilbert
one.
Arenas and Steven Jackson and
The,
Swaggy P.
yeah, the Steven Jackson not on that one,
Okay.
but Swaggy P,
Okay.
Gilbert Arenas, and Recant. Forgot his name.
Oh, Cage, Cage. I say Cage. Uh,
Recant is his last
I
name.
can't think of. You talking about the old school NBA players on there too.
Yeah, well, no, he's not an old school player. But he played at North Carolina. Star player, didn't have a great career in the NBA when he
Mm.
went to Minnesota. But he was talking to Stephen A. He was just telling him like, they're frustrated with journalists like him talking about NBA players the way they talk about them. He said in particular, they're insulted by NBA players are insulted by it because it's like he knows why they didn't play well. Like he said he talked about how he used to hang with Allen Iverson. And he knew why Allen Iverson didn't have a good game because Allen Iverson was out with him late at
Hmm.
night partying and drinking. So he knows certain things about him. But Stephen A, his
Right.
point was, his point
Yeah.
was that,
Yeah.
but I got a job to do. And my job is to critique you. But he comes off as their friends, he hangs out with them,
Yeah.
and he insults them, and
Right.
they don't like that.
That's what they do.
Yeah. So it's an interesting discussion that they
Hmm.
had, and I get the
Hmm.
player's point of it. He said, they're basically saying it's somebody who has never played the game at a high level. They don't know the dynamics of what's happening in the
Right.
game, and you're
Not at all
criticizing
level.
me, and you're saying things like Stephen A. That clip of him talking about the guy that played for the Wizards, that the number one overall draft pick that Michael Jordan made, Kwame Brown, and how he talks about he can't shoot. This man can't play basketball. You know how
Mm-hmm.
Kwame Brown, and how he trashed that kid, and that's what goes through their head. Like, man, you didn't have to talk about him like that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You never played. You never was a number one overall pick. So who gives you the right to talk
Yeah, I
about him?
get it, but at the same time, that is what his job. That's what he paid to do. That's the whole show. His whole show is literally talking about other players, talk
Right.
about people. That's his whole show. You know what I'm saying? He talking about athletes. He's a sports analyst. That's what sports analysts do. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So, you
well,
know,
he takes it to
I don't
another
blame
level.
him for doing what he does.
Right. But you have to admit, he's different from other sports analysts. He talks as if he
Yeah,
was a great
he's not
player.
as PC as a lot of he's PC
Exactly.
sometimes. He's PC sometimes, but
So,
he's not as PC as most analysts are. But that's why he excels because he's not like all the other analysts.
right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? He kind of has to be that way because he'll just be everybody else if he did.
No, that's true. And I think
Mm-hmm.
he talks like most fans talk. You talk to some fans, they call up, oh,
Exactly. He talks as like a fan perspective.
from you listen to some of these
Exactly.
fans, they talk and they call players garbage. That player's garbage. He's trash. And it's like, well, let's not say garbage or
Mhm.
trash. He's just not playing his best, or he's not playing well at this level. You're talking about an elite level. Like, I love the analogy Brian Scalabrine says. He says, "Yeah, I'm trash compared to other NBA players. I'm elite compared to
Mhm.
you." You know, which is true. Like, it's true. Brian
Right.
Scalabrine is
But
an
he don't
elite
play
basketball.
Steve A, though.
Right, right. So I mean, but that's
He
the
don't
point.
play Steve.
Stephen A. They make fun of Stephen A. Stephen A. averaged 1.5 points a game when he was playing at Winston Salem. So it's just like, let's be a little bit more respectful.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that point. Like, I always try to caution myself when I'm talking about a player and their performance out there.
Right.
Like, keep in
Mm-hmm.
mind, we're still talking about an elite athlete. Not saying that the guy can't play football. He can play it. He just doesn't play it well against these guys. So
Right.
yeah. But
Right.
one
Right.
one thing I want to talk about, I've been meaning to talk to you about this. I wanted to get your opinion on it because I think it's hilarious. I know how you feel about LeBron and how what's the term you use? Glaze, folks glazing him or whatever, or glazing themselves over him. I don't know.
Glazing.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It
They
sounds
just
like you
stay
got.
glazing.
It sounds like you got to take a pause when you say glazing. That just doesn't sound proper to me. But
They the ones doing it, and they be they doing it.
but have you heard these LeBron songs where fans are totally glazing all? I can say that pause, but glazing all over this dude with these songs, man. It started with the one song, the one LeBron song.
Man.
Now it's like
Right.
hundreds of songs
Right.
now.
Uh. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
man in the
That's the
mirror.
thing. I don't know why he decided to do it now. Right. I don't know why that became the thing to do right now when he's been in the league like 22 years, because I ain't really heard of stuff like this before.
Right,
But it's a thing now. It's a little
it is a
viral thing
thing.
now, man. What can
Yeah,
you say?
I feel like it started with that one
Hmm.
LeBron song. That one
It's funny.
song, LeBron, and somebody. It started off with that, and then somebody rapped over it or sung over it, and then next thing you know, everybody's making a song about this dude, and they glazing all over him. Pause, but they glazing over. It's real. It's
I'm sure
strange.
we dug if, if we dug deep, we could find it. I'm sure if we dug deep, we could find songs older than that about LeBron. I'm pretty sure we can find something.
I don't think
And
there
we
was no
dug.
songs,
We
man.
dug
I
it.
don't think there were. I think somebody
That
was,
but that one was popular.
I think somebody, right? That may have. You might be right. You're right. You might be right.
Hmm.
But I'm like, I mean, the only song I can
I'll
remember
be
from Michael
shocked if they
Jordan,
just started doing it.
right? I don't know. I think they did. I think that was the start of it. I think it was that LeBron song, that LeBron song. I think that was the start. I was like, I guess they figured they're gonna try to get something on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan only had one song, "Want to Be Like Mike" by Gatorade. So it's like
Right,
LeBron gonna have 100 songs.
right, right, right,
Yo, it's
right.
crazy. but
Mhm.
but yeah, no, I've been meaning to bring that up to you because I know I've been seeing some of the memes out there where you can listen to the song or where these dudes acting and stuff out, man. It's hilarious. Thanks for joining us again. We do this thing every week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Holla.